Come to town, and probably if you were picking a team that got off to the hottest start in the Valley this year, CJ, it probably would be Drake. They have
actually got a hold of the basketball, deflected it. Still, Barnes was strong enough to put it in the hole.
Yeah, Chuck took his time on that layup and almost regretted it.
I think Drake forgot which direction they were going defensively.
Ooh, tough call that goes against the Redbirds. I thought Mike had slid in there and had possession to take the charge. We got a little quick 2-on-1 break there, and Chuck went up and thought he was going to jam it home, and maybe came up a little bit short, and Celestine had an opportunity to block it. But
Stanley was the only guy that got back defensively on that bucket by Vandegaard a moment ago.
It could have been that the Bulldogs were still in shock over the referee.
I think they thought they were going to the offensive end, the way it looked.
That could be.
William Celestine at the line, Celestine from Manual Arts High School in Los Angeles. Shooting a pair. Veteran member of the squad, nets the first one. 5.5 scoring average, 5.7 rebounds, 667 at the free throw line.
Todd Cagle in the ball game now for Steve Fitch.
Let's check that Bird lineup now. Barnes, Hutter, Altadonna, Cagle, and Thomas. Celestine for the Bulldogs. He nets the second one. Official timeout with exactly 8 minutes to go in the first half. Drake by 3, Bulldogs 17, Redbirds 14. Aaron passes the midsection. Other places you can see dunks, three-point shots, but the old Missouri Valley Conference always comes up with something, don't they, CJ?
Well, that should make the highlight film at the end of the year. Probably that official, when he was 20 years younger, he probably had the same expression on his face when his mom caught him with his hand in the cookie jar.
Absolutely. I'm not real sure which official that is. It's Joe Poliak, maybe. Jerry Siebert and Wayne Unruh working this ball game tonight. Missouri Valley Conference, I'll put mugshots on these guys in their preseason brochure.
Redbird's going with a little smaller lineup now ourselves. Maybe we're going to try to outquick them a little bit.
Yeah, it is a little smaller lineup. We'll see. Looks like Drake sticking with that zone defense, though. They've got a lot of sag on the inside on Hutter. Playing very, very tough directly under the hoop and what we would call the paint, I would assume. Altadonna works to Cagle. Cagle on the right wing as Jeff Allen moves to him. Back to Chad Altadonna. Altadonna to Thomas. The kid from Chicago, Whitney Young, goes along the baseline. Cut off tough over there. Good defensive job by Kurt Smith. His portion of the zone. Big Kyrie Stanley in the middle of this defense. And he seems to run the floor pretty well, though, CJ. There's an attempt by Thomas, blocked on the inside. Cagle with the save with 1 second on the shot clock. A three launched by Thomas is way, way short. Basketball goes to Drake. Drake with a good defensive stand that time down.
Well, I know Drake's defense is very active, and they're not letting us get really good shots, but I don't know, from what I'm seeing, I thought Richard had a few opportunities there in that possession where he could have gotten off a very good shot. I hope that we don't become too gun shy here.
Yeah, we're passing up a few, in other words. I think that's right. Daphne tries to drive it for Drake. Cut off tough. That's Darren Daphne. Out front to Kurt Smith. As we've told you repeatedly, the guy with the basketball right now leads the Missouri Valley in scoring, both regular season and league games. Kid from Washington, D.C., via Compton Junior College, a 5'10" backliner. His first year with the Drake Bulldogs, and of course he's made a tremendous difference as they now have a reliable scoring leader. Tries the three, snaps it up, misses it, but Thomas fouled him. Boy, he has every kind of shot in the world in a very, very unorthodox motion, but obviously can get the job done.
Yeah, he sure does. It's a poor choice, though, by Richard that time to foul him when the clock was down into about 3-4 seconds. Yeah, I think it was.
He was fouled outside the arc, so it will be a three-shot situation for Kurt Smith.
It's a demoralizing situation for the Redbird defense, too, when you work so hard for 45 seconds or 40 seconds, and then you get it down to the last few seconds of the shot clock, and then you bail the guy out and put him on the line.
Particularly guys likely to make him. He's a 72% free throw shooter, makes the first one. There you see Kurt Smith. The numbers on Kurt actually closer to 73% at the gift line. 2 out of 2. Kurt Smith, who's averaging 21.2, has 8 points right now with 6:32 to go in the first half. And Drake leads it by 5. Make it by 6. It's going to be a tough ball club to come from behind against. They're very, very athletic. ISU needs to get something going.
I agree with you, Art. We can't get too far behind on this club, I don't think.
Thomas to Cagle. Well, Todd and Thomas have gotten him fired up before. Right side is Altadonna. Knocked away from Altadonna by Kurt Smith. Here's Jeff Allen. Foot race, Allen and Cagle. Great save by Todd Cagle. Great hustle play. How many times have we seen that from Todd Cagle during his career? Product of Normal Community High School. Senior veteran. Here is Richard Thomas. Has the shot. Hooks it. Rolls it up and in.
Unbelievable offensive effort that time by Richard Thomas going against the big Stanley and hooks it in over him. That was a great individual effort.
Thomas is called for the foul as Kurt Smith took him all the way to the baseline. Foul number 2 on Richard Thomas. Going to see that scenario with Cagle's great save.
Great save. Individual defensive effort there by Todd to prevent the layup. And then Richard just maintaining his dribble, seeing the opening through the lane, taking it down in on the big fella, Stanley. Actually could have been called almost for a three-point play on that.
Really could have. He got brushed. Darren Daphne outside the arc for Drake. He buries it.
Little defensive mix-up that time by the Redbirds, and Daphne had the open three-pointer, wasn't afraid to take it, and he knocked it down.
23 of 55 at three-point range this year for the Bulldogs. They lead 23-16. They're up 7. Chad Altadonna for ISU to Todd Cagle. Looks low to Hunter. The feed to Hunter from Altadonna for 2.
That was a great triangle that the Redbirds worked that time. Cagle getting the ball to the top of the key to Altadonna with Thomas Hunter pinning his man on his hip, showing the hand, and Chad making a great inside pass to him for the easy layup.
Kurt Smith across for Drake. ISU stuck with that man-to-man defense throughout the first half of the ball game. Celestine underneath had it. Let's see what they're going to rule. They're going to say ISU deflected the ball out of bounds. Todd Wimhaner got a hand on the basketball down there. ISU is collapsing pretty well in the middle. Drake's not scoring directly under the basket. They've been popping him in at the perimeter. They've got the big guy out of there right now. We're talking about Kyrie Stanley. And no, they don't either. Stanley's still out there. Here is Kurt Smith. Kyrie just tips the ball up, misses it, got another one, and got it in. I guess I was a bit premature there, CJ. I was kind of hoping he was out of there. 25-18, Drake by 7. Wimhaner is mugged, and they're going to call the foul against the Redbirds. Todd Cagle picks up his first personal foul.
Well, the Redbirds definitely have to take better care of the ball. Each possession in this type of ball game where the Bulldogs are going to eat up a lot of time off the clock becomes that much more valuable, and we can't be careless and turn it over.
This is Darren Daphne at the line. Fremont High School in Los Angeles product. Charity tosses up and in. Of course, Rudy Washington's a graduate of Redlands University. Both teams are on the bonus now, by the way. Was assistant at Iowa from 1986 through 1990, 41-year-old. There's Rudy Washington. Second throw by Daphne is up and in. Done a good job with this Drake program. Obviously, they're tough this year, 27-18. Drake leading, 4:52 for the half. ISU struggling in the first half against the fired-up Bulldogs. Todd Cagle works the ball to Wimhaner. Wimhaner, Altadonna. Altadonna tries to penetrate, cut off. Drake wanted a traveling call, and for their trouble, William Celestine is called for the reach-in foul.
Well, we gave them a little bit of a taste of their own medicine that time. I like the fact that Chad looked to drive through the lane, and Celestine wasn't quick enough to keep up with him, and he bumped him and rightfully got called for the foul.
Looks like their defense is giving ISU a lot of trouble tonight. From many aspects, CJ. Birds are having trouble getting the ball in low consistently, except when Vandegaard's out there. And they're not giving up the perimeter shots. There's a good look at Altadonna at the line, and Chad nails it.
Well, I think also the Redbirds have to assert themselves a little bit more and take some of those shots. In a game like this, you're not going to get the optimum shot, but they've been open time and time again. And
there's a good look at Chad. Misses the free throw. 82% free throw shooter, goes 1 for 2. Board is controlled here by Darren Daphne. Daphne 6'5" as he comes out front this time to Kurt Smith. They have Allen, Kurt Smith, and Daphne. Kyrie Stanley inside, and Brett Sherrill, a veteran. Now Sherrill has the basketball. He's only a sophomore. I say veteran, but he did play quite a bit last year for Drake. 27-19, Bulldogs on the lead. Here's a pass, intercepted, picked off by Wimhaner. Todd's played a lot in the first half. Bounce pass, Cagle, beautiful drive, got it. Todd Cagle turned, protected the ball as he went in with a left-hand underhand layup. 27-21. Birds back within 6, trying to make a run here late in the first half. Darren Daphne inside a Hunter. His shot doesn't go. Scott Taylor with a great rebound. Caught an elbow in the face from Kyrie Stanley. Up the floor comes ISU. Wimhaner. Hunter against Stanley for 2. Fouled on the play.
Great little spurt here by the Redbirds. Stanley finally collecting his third foul. And there's been a couple possessions where I think he could have been whistled for his third, and finally they got it. Here we come. Todd with a great inside pass to Thomas. Pump fake. Stanley fouling him. Gets the basket to go down, and hopefully one more from the charity stripe.
Hunter with 5 points tonight. So inside, the Redbirds have 4 out of Vandegaard, 2 out of Taylor, and 5 out of Hunter. Those are your inside players, basically. Kern hasn't scored, so that's 8, 10, 11 points. They like a little more than that inside the paint.
Exactly, and also I think just like to see the Redbirds get a little bit more consistent from the charity stripe, because boy, so many ball games, especially in the Valley when they're close, are determined by the percentages the team shoot from the free throw line. There we go.
And that's the free throw.
That's a good sign.
Timeout at Redbird Arena, 3:54 for the half. ISU now back within 3. Drake 27, Illinois State 24. Steal.
Nice overplay in the defense. With Wemhaner getting a nice pass to Cagle, goes in with the left hand, and didn't let, I don't know who was that defensive player, I can't see it very well on the screen, but didn't let that jumper.
We have the smallest monitor in television.
I thought maybe just having turned 40 a couple of days ago, Art, that my eyes were going bad.
That doesn't help, CJ, but it's still the smallest monitor. At any rate, it was a good replay.
Yeah, there's a little spurt that the Redbirds needed, and wake up this crowd and get themselves charged up here, so that with 3:54 remaining in the first half, being down 3 points, maybe we can pick it up also on the defensive end and go in and have a halftime lead.
ISU's got some kids really getting, I think, the maximum out of their abilities right now. Todd Cagle has certainly played totally to his capacity and does every time out, has made himself a fine talent. King out there now for Drake in the right corner to Ray Slater. This time Jeff Allen launches the long one, getting a hand on it with Scott Taylor. Taylor's all alone, nobody sees him. Down the floor now, back out to Todd Cagle's going to pull up on the 3 and got it.
You could see it coming. You could see Todd Cagle in really good rhythm. He just stepped right into that three-pointer and knocked it down.
And we got a tie ball game. Illinois State is 8 of 21, now 9 of 22 from the field, 38% plus. Drake is 9 of 22, shooting at about 41%. Missed shot, rebound, King, wrapped up, fouled by Chad Altadonna.
Tough play. We can't let the Bulldogs get those second efforts, and that's just what happened that time.
Now, you're an old rebounder from your better days. Look at these rebounding stats, CJ. 18-11 edge to Drake. They've stayed in the ball game pretty much on the boards.
Exactly, and here's a case right now where the Bulldogs got the offensive rebound rather than us getting the defensive rebound and starting it up on the offensive end. King now is at the free throw line for 1-and-1.
Clayton Allen checks in from Boona, Texas. Lee, Texas Junior College. You ever been in Boona?
Can't say that I have.
Free throw is up and in by King. Well, I don't recall making any stops there. Although in the earlier days of the ISU program, we probably played a game there. One more throw. Up and in. 29-27, 2-point lead.
Okay, the Redbirds handling the full court pressure very well this possession.
Here's Todd Wemhaner, works off to Cagle, to Altadonna with the jumper, in and out and back in again.
But see, this is what the Redbirds weren't doing in the early part of this half, is when they had that open shot, they were hesitant and would pass it some more. This time they have the open shot, and they're in rhythm, and they're shooting it and having some success with it.
Well, it's all a thing of confidence, isn't it, CJ? You just got to feel at this point in the season, you've played enough. They've made those shots before. Why the hesitation now? And they're not playing with any hesitation now. As a result, they're back in it, looking for the lead. Thomas drives, ball is knocked away. Got to go back to the Redbirds. We're tied at 29 with 2:29 to play in the first half. There's Thomas Hunter.
Hunter had the ball swiped away from him cleanly, but Todd Wemhaner making it happen on the defensive end.
Yeah, Todd's had a good ball game. Played. Has he gone the distance the first half? I think he may have. Cagle got it. Good winner by Todd Cagle. Cagle has hit 3 big shots since he came off the bench.
I really love it. We're just shooting the ball without any hesitation. It's great to see that now.
And we got the lead as a result, 31-29. Slater holding high for the Bulldogs. Ray puts it on the deck, tries to penetrate inside, double team as it turned out between Wemhaner and Altadonna. Now out front to Kurt Smith.
Redbirds need not relax right now. Sometimes when you're behind and you catch the team who's been ahead, then you have a tendency to relax, and then they make a little spurt on you right back in your face.
Sometimes, too, when you're at home, you don't come out quite as fired up as you do on the road. On the road, you know it's going to be tough. And the home, you usually find out early on it's going to be tough. There's a long-range bomb for 3 by Clayton Allen. Allen, the kid from Boone, Texas, just bombed one. 32-31 Drake. Kern checks in, and Steve Fitch comes on for Illinois State.
Chad lost the handle on that ball. We've got to take better care of each possession, as I said a little bit earlier.
Last turnover figures, ISU wasn't doing too badly in that category with the 3:54 showing in the half. Birds had only turned it over 6 times to 8 for Drake, but
a little bit misleading because when you use so much time on the clock on the offensive end as Drake does, you're not going to have as many turnovers.
Give the field goal to Clayton Allen. Allen has come up with a 6-point flurry here. 34-31. ISU rallied to tie this thing a couple of times at 27-29. Now they're down 3. Turn to Cagle. Steve Fitch, deep in the left corner. Fitch comes out of traffic, works off to Todd Cagle. Cagle looks to Wimhainer. Wimhainer being crowded out tough, very tough by Clayton Allen. We have 2 Allens on the Drake roster, by the way, Jeff and Clayton. Fitch gets the ball to Cagle. Cagle dives. Nice play by Todd. Here's Steve Fitch. Gets it off to Scotty Taylor for the pull-up. Won't go. Fitch guys for the rebound. Can't get it home. Deflected out of bounds. Illinois State will have it with 48 seconds to go in the half. And Rudy Washington talking to the official on the sideline, saying, well, I think you might have missed it, ref. There's Rudy.
Yeah, it's good to see Rudy packing a few extra pounds these days. Doesn't make me feel so badly.
I feel a little better about the whole thing, too. to think of it. Yeah, but you're 6'8". The way what I do at my height, I'm one of those big 6'2" guys. It's not big in basketball. Wimhainer to Cagle. 35 seconds for the half. There you'll see the clock.
30 on the shot clock. 2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
Birds are down by 3 at 34-31. Wimhainer and Cagle is playing catch. Shot clock now at 16. Here's Wimhainer. Wimhainer puts it on the deck, working on Clayton Allen. Gets the ball off to Cagle. Cagle.
Oh, nice
pass low to Taylor. Knocked away, and Drake steals it. Big defensive stand by Drake. Ray Slater with the steal. 5 seconds to go in the half. Here is Kurt Smith. Smith from Twilight Zone almost got it. He was out at about 24 feet when he launched that. The ball hit on the back iron and bounded away. So the ISU run in the first half was encouraging, but not enough to get the halftime lead. Illinois State trailed at halftime by 3 at 34-31. We'll be back with our halftime show in just a moment. Minutes without Mike out there. Bring him back in down the stretch. Here's Cagle. Cagle working over to Richard Thomas. To Cagle. Thomas Hunter, Brian Kern, and Steve Fitch out there in the front line. That's not a bad front line trio. Steve Fitch. He wouldn't fire the 3 out there, would he? You bet he would. Steve Fitch sails for the baseline. Looks. Back to Richard Thomas. Thomas back to Fitch. Free for the 3. No good. Rebound comes long. Clayton Allen scoots down the floor for the Bulldogs against Todd Cagle. Pulls it up and got it.
Tough play by Clayton Allen.
He's tough.
And instead of taking it all the way and risking a charge, he pulls up from about 7 feet and uses the board and then gets it to go down. Intelligent play.
43-40. ISU lead, which was out to 5. Now down to 3 points. Thomas is being hounded by Kurt Smith, who obviously learned to play defense somewhere along the line as well. That's been a good duel between he and Thomas. Richard tries the 3. Missed it rather badly. Ball comes out to Darren Daphne. Daphne is collided with by Steve Fitch, and Fitch picks up the personal foul. Second foul on Steve Fitch.
Redbird shooting going cold here now the last couple minutes.
Yeah, they got it out to 49%. Our last report on 17 of 35, but they have cooled considerably. As far as all game leaders, ISU's Mike Vandegaard ranks 9th in the Valley in scoring. And he is first in field goal percentage among Valley performers. There's a look at Darren Daphne. Shot rattles off. Cagle got up over Ray Slater and got it down. Good job by Todd Cagle. Gave away a few inches of height, to say the least. Here is Richard Thomas. 43-40 Illinois State. 9 minutes left.
Well, Todd Cagle and Wimhainer are very much the same type of player. And when Wimhainer's not in there, Cagle is very capable of playing that aggressive, gutsy style as well.
Richard Thomas to Cagle. Left corner, Steve Fitch. Fitch cut off by William Celestine.
Well, you see now Steve has missed a couple from three-point range, and now he's shying away.
Foul is going to be called this time on Clayton Allen. CJ, you know, one thing I think we should mention is the quality of the race in the Missouri Valley Conference. You know, you talk about the Big Ten and their parity and balance, and certainly it's there, and some of your other leagues. Boy, the Valley, there really are no weak sisters at all. Nobody you can coast against, and this race wide open. Today, your league leader Southern gets whipped. Here is Drake battling to stay in contention. ISU still has a shot. Northern Iowa starting to come on with a big home court win over Indiana State.
Well, you're right, Art. A couple years ago, when the Redbirds only won 5 ball games and the rest of the league was a lot better than we were. Now we've made the comeback, and actually we are probably a group of about 5 or 6 teams that have become vastly improved to the point where, as you say, there's an extreme amount of parity within the league, and the conference regular season championship is still up for grabs.
Richard Thomas with the 2 free throws. ISU by 5 at 45-40.
It'd be nice to get a great defensive stop here and convert at the offensive end.
Aaron Daphne, as Rudy Washington has settled with this combination pretty much. He hasn't made too many changes. Pretty happy with the play out there of Clayton Allen. His ball club down 5, however, on the road. Now they come out front to Kurt Smith. Boy, they get deliberate, don't they?
Yeah, and then you get Smith down at the very end. Now he's got the whole right side open for himself.
He drives in. Thomas can't get it. A nice rebound by Brian Kern.
Good outlet pass also. Here we go.
Steve Fitch, underhand layup does not go. Richard Thomas gets it back. Now the Redbirds retain possession of the basketball. Fitch really couldn't dunk it. The defensive man was there and tried to finesse the ball a little bit. Didn't work. Illinois State still has a chance to score, though, as Brian Kern circles out to Steve Fitch, top of the circle, off to Richard Thomas.
Steve shouldn't feel so badly. I didn't have a left hand either. So.
A lot of guys don't. Here's Vandegaard. Mack back out there after a short rest. His turnaround.
Great individual move by Mike Vandegaard. Got a nice entrance pass. Fake to his right, came back left with a fadeaway jump shot from about 8 feet.
47-40, Illinois State. This is the biggest Redbird lead, as I recall. Well, they might have had it out to 7 one other time in the second half, but right now, with the clock showing 7:09 to go, it's a 7-point cushion, if you want to call it that. Darren Daphne out of Los Angeles Fremont High School, 6'5", 216-pound junior with an 11.7 scoring average.
Well, here's what we were talking about. The Bulldog offense is not geared to come from behind, and but you wanted to get in the hands of Smith if you're a Bulldog fan.
Ray Slater's shot is blocked by Fitch, picked up underneath and scored by Celestine.
Heads up play by Celestine to regain possession of the semi-block shot and convert it for a basket.
That's his first field goal. 47-42, Illinois State lead is down to 5 again with 6:33 to go. Steve Fitch, Richard Thomas. Interesting to see if Drake picks up the tempo a little bit as we get under 5 minutes.
Redbirds need to have a little bit more movement here offensively.
A lot of time left on the 30 or 45-second clock. Inside with the turnaround, Vandegaard lifts the rim. No good. William Celestine. That's why Celestine plays so much. He does a lot of things defensively, on the boards, scores a little bit, not a great deal. Smith with a great assist to Allen. Allen got the bucket. Clayton Allen after a bullet thrown by Kurt Smith. And it's 47-44. Bird lead is down to 3 and it's getting tight again.
Well, the fans are trying to urge on the Redbirds now. They realize, too, we need a basket.
Here's Fitch from Vandegaard.
That was a great half-court breaking of a half-court press that time. Vandegaard got in the middle, turned, saw Steve Fitch wide open underneath. And it was a good basket for Steve Fitch because he doesn't have a hot hand from the outside, but he broke the ice with a slam dunk.
Birds get back to that 5-point lead. That's what's all important as Ray Slater ball handles for Drake out front now to Kurt Smith. Richard Thomas has done a pretty good job on Kurt Smith tonight. Smith has 12 points. The average is 21 a game. There's an errant pass stolen away by Todd Cagle. And again, Thomas really forced that bad pass by getting right up in the face of Kurt Smith.
Yeah, he sure did. Just as you were saying that Richard's done a good defensive job, he comes up with another big defensive play on Smith.
Well, he's almost had Smith all night, hasn't he? Hasn't had a lot of help. It's been where Smith goes, of course. You just about have to play him straight up. Cagle slides around Daphne. Doesn't take the shot. We're down to 4:48. Redbird lead is just 5. Steve Fitch bobs and weaves to Brian Kern straight away at 16 feet. Roll out. No good. Kern with his own rebound.
play by Brian Kern.
There's Smith. Three-point range will not go. Rebound comes off to Kurt Smith.
Yeah, but Brian did a good job that time.
There's a long lead pass to Clayton Allen. He made a great recovery and poked it up and in.
He sure did. But on the other end, Brian had a shot, rebounded. It was aggressive going after his own shot. That's a good play.
Yep.
It was a better athletic play by Allen at this end to come up with a basket. Here we are at 3 points again.
49-46. The lead by 3. Being held by Illinois State. Steve Fitch holds the ball over his head. Out this time to Todd Cagle. Cagle to Richard Thomas. Going to try the three. Got it.
There's Richard Thomas. There's that senior leadership. You want to come up with a big bucket, and he knocks down a serious three-point effort there.
14 points for Richard Thomas tonight. Ray Slater with the turnaround. Over Kern. The Drake just keeps coming at you. There's no quit in this Bulldog combination. 52-48. The clock rolling in ISU's favor, but only a 4-point lead. Steve Fitch looks at the basket, gets it out to Thomas. Thomas now to Fitch. Fitch into Vandegaard. Vandegaard off balance. He's clobbered as he goes in. And a reach-in foul. Going to go against Kurt Smith, only his second personal. Been a tough basketball game at Redbird Arena.
It really is. Here's a nice entrance pass from Steve Fitch along the baseline to Mike Vandegaard, who turns to his left. And there's no question about that Smith fouled him. Smith, of course, trying to convince the referees that there was a jump ball situation, but instead Mike will go to the line for 2 shots.
Here's the big guy back in the ball game, riding with 4 fouls. Kyrie Stanley comes back in for Drake. They take Celestine out. Jeff Allen's back in the ball game and also back out for the first time since early in the first half is Surla, Alexandra Surla. Vandegaard, that's the free throw. Mike shooting at the line, 6:79.
I was about to say, Art, Mike this year, and watch his rhythm or his motion at the free throw line, he doesn't really look to feel that comfortable. He's got a little jump to his free throw. And while he got both of those to go down that time, it just doesn't seem like he is as comfortable as I've seen him at the line.
Official timeout, 3.5 to play in the ball game. It's ISU by 6 at 54-48. Back in just a moment. And considering he carries such an offensive burden for this club, that's pretty good production.
You know, our viewers too, Art, it might be interesting to note that his brother is former Olympian and Boston Celtics Charles Smith.
Yep.
So there's some good basketball genes in his family.
He probably will contend along with Blocker from Northern Iowa, and we hope Thomas Hunter from ISU for Newcomer of the Year in the Valley. There have been some new faces that have made a really great impact on the Valley title race already this year. Ray Slater holds it. He's a kid out of Laurel, Maryland. This is Daphne. Drake needs to make a move now. The heat's on Drake. They're down 6. Surla being crowded out here by Richard Thomas. Pass intercepted by Thomas Hunter. Got in front of the big guy, Kyrie Stanley. And ISU has the basketball.
Great individual defensive effort by Thomas Hunter, even though he's outweighed by Stanley by probably a good 60 pounds or 50 pounds anyway.
Yeah, Redbird's shooting has cooled off to 434 on 20 of 45. Drake 17 of 42. 405. Drake with the steal. Alexandra Surla, the Yugoslavian, has the basketball as he comes up to the timeline. Rebounds 28-27. ISU has finally gained an edge of 1 on the boards. Our crowd here tonight, 8,625 on a Saturday night. They look inside to Stanley, get the ball to Ray Slater. Slater had the shot, didn't pull the trigger quickly enough, goes around Vandegaard and got it.
Big time offensive play that time by Slater. Fakes to his right, goes left, and kisses it off the glass for a layup.
Oh, great leaping catch by Scott Taylor. It take Taylor or Vandegaard's arms to reach a pass like that. ISU's lead is down to 4. That's the important thing. You see the clock, 2:09. ISU with just a 4-point cushion against determined Drake here tonight. Here's Todd Cagle. Cagle with a good ball fake. Works to Scott Taylor. Richard Thomas.
Yugoslavs not normally known for their defensive ability. Maybe Richard can take advantage of Surla.
Surla dogging him pretty tough out here. Going to the right side to Taylor. Taylor's pull-up is no good. The rebound deflected away. Taylor has the shot blocked by Kyrie Stanley, and that's going to be all. .145 left as Stanley fouls out.
Scotty misses the shot pretty badly. Mike kept it alive, came right back to to Scott Taylor, and Stanley fouls out. You know one thing about the big fella, about Stanley, as we see him leaving the ball game there, he doesn't have impressive statistics. He averages a couple points a game and a rebound. But for a freshman, he does have some poise. And I'll tell you what, Redbird fans and the rest of the Missouri Valley Conference in the next 3 years, will have to contend with a much improved Stanley and something to contend with in that center position.
You got that right. We'll hear the name Kyrie echoing throughout the Valley for 3 more seasons. And this one isn't over yet either. One more throw coming to Scott Taylor, 55-50. Taylor walks the second one home. So it's a 56-50 ball game. Timeout is called with 1:45 left. 56-50 Redbirds. Back in just a moment.
And make every possession count at the offensive end, taking care of the ball.
Jeff Allen in long range for the Bulldogs, bounds out of their rebound, hauled down by Celestine. Back to Allen. Allen launches another 3. It won't go. Rebound, Vandegaard deflected out of bounds to go back to Drake. You know the irony of this whole thing. Drake has a defensive average of 80 points per game. Of course, they gave Iowa State 119 the other night. That'll do wonders for your defensive average, won't it?
It sure will. And here we're giving now a third opportunity for the Bulldogs to score a hoop, and we just can't do that with a little over a minute left in the ball game.
Here's Smith. Smith gets the ball out front to Slater. Richard Thomas has done a great job of keeping Smith from hurting him offensively in the second half. Rebound is called down by Scott Taylor.
Big time rebound by Scott Taylor, going high in the air and swooping it down with his left hand.
Here's Todd Cagle across with 1 minute to go. ISU leading by 6 at 56-50.
Well, you know, especially with Stanley out of there, they're just going to press all over the court, so we've got to be heads up.
Foul is on Kurt Smith, his third against Richard Thomas.
2-shot opportunity now for Richard. It's important that we continue to make the free throws.
There's Rudy Washington talking with his wheel horse, Kurt Smith, who will be at the line, or not at the line, who put Thomas at the line, we should say. Can't say enough about the play of Thomas defensively tonight. That's an area that Richard doesn't maybe get the credit he should, although he's among the steal leaders in this league every year. But
no, he's done a yeoman's job, effort against Kurt Smith tonight, no question about it.
Talk about a blue-collar performance, huh? There's a look at Kurt Smith. He can burn you if you let him.
Smith was over talking to Coach Rudy Washington. I'm sure he's going to get the green light to take the ball and shake and bake and try to do something individually here.
Well, he's got to do it in a hurry. It's 50 seconds remaining. Here's Smith. Smith working on Thomas. Richards sticking right with him. Smith drives around with the hook and got it. As we say, he does a little bit of everything, and Drake takes the timeout.
Well, no sooner do we mention the fact that probably Smith is going to go one-on-one, and he does just a super job. And there's a player with a left hand. Brought it in with his left hand with a layup.
Well, he's got 14 points here tonight. Richard Thomas, his counterpart on ISU, with 9.
This pressure.
And make the free throws if they get the free throw opportunities, which they probably will. Here's Thomas off to Cagle. Cagle dribbles through, and Ray Slater reaches out and commits the personal foul, his first.
Great play.
Here's a look at Mr. Slater, number 34 for the Bulldogs. Rudy Washington in 90-91, his first year at Drake, went 8-21. Last year he was 6-21. I'll guarantee he's going to be a lot better than that this year. Cagle is at the line for the Redbirds. 1-1 for Todd. First one hangs on the outer rim. Cagle, a 70% free throw shooter. Rudy Washington on the Drake bench as he prepares to send a reserve in, and indeed does. His own son comes in. Rudy Washington Jr., 6'3", 190. Los Angeles Carson High School.
Interesting call. I don't think he's been in the ball game all evening.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't played a great deal this year. 1.4 average.
Todd's got to make this one. We need to come away with at least 1 point here.
Leads only 5. Free throw misfires by Cagle. Basketball belongs to Drake. Up quickly with it is Kurt Smith at long range. He threads the needle on the 3. An amazing shot. And Drake takes another timeout as they have pulled within 2. And suddenly we have an entirely different basketball game with 27 seconds left, CJ.
Yeah, well, what we feared was Smith get
late, but they are never dull. All right, Todd Cagle to make the play in from out of bounds. Looking for help, calls a timeout as he couldn't get the ball in. Good heady play by Cagle. As Todd was looking for somebody to pass to. Boy, Drake plays that full court pressure pretty well.
Yeah, well, when they've got that smaller lineup in there and they're all very quick players, it makes it difficult for the offensive team to create anything.
Well, you know, I spoke too soon on this free throw shot. The free throw effort was very, very good. And Todd Cagle, who normally is very reliable in those situations, missed a pair. And normally with the lead, you might not think it was too critical. They were still up 5, and then Kurt Smith comes up.
Pass from Todd Cagle.
Okay, Cagle will inbound the basketball. Only 27 seconds left. ISU's lead is just 2. Is Vandegaard. Vandegaard to Cagle. Stolen away by the Bulldogs, and a foul is going to be called on Kurt Smith.
Very
got
fortunate.
the pass off, and he must have got him on the wrist.
Very fortunate call to go for the Redbirds. I thought Smith jumped high to knock that pass
Take
down.
a look at it again.
Back over to Cagle. Cagle trying to get rid of it. I guess when Smith blocked it, his right arm came down and caught Cagle in the shoulder.
Yeah, apparently so. But now the heat's on Todd Cagle once again. All that took only 4 seconds off the clock. We're at 23 seconds. 2 shots for Cagle.
He's going to knock him down this time.
I think so. Birds need them both. Well, there's one. 58-55. Senior from Normal Community. One more throw. Got it.
Nothing but the bottom of the net.
2 big clutch free throws from Todd Cagle. After missing 2, he comes back. 59-55. Here's Kurt Smith. Smith whirling to the baseline. Shot is up. No good. Jeff Allen with the board. He can't get it down. Batted around. Still loose. Todd Wimhainer hustles in the corner against Darren Daphne. Comes out with the basketball with 8 seconds left. And Daphne picks up the personal foul.
Well, the interesting play about that, Art, is that who were the 2 players instrumental in getting that loose ball and getting that rebound? It was Todd Cagle right here keeping it alive, and then who comes up with it here at the end? Cagle again keeping it alive, and who is it? Wimhainer.
Wimhainer sprained an ankle, it looks like, on the play.
Either that or it's a cramp. It looks like they're...
Maybe a cramp, the way they're working on it. Cagle and Thomas down there with him. 2 well-known local physicians, of course, checking the thing out. Yeah, I think it must be a cramp. He made a tremendous move in the corner, and a very athletic move to catch up with the ball. You know, normally on these broadcasts, not to change the subject, but I think we need something a little bit lighter at the moment, CJ. 59-55, ISU by 4 with 8 seconds left. But we haven't mentioned Ray Giacoletti's tie tonight, which is traditional on these telecasts because Ray has really gone conservative on us.
I should say. Very basic blue tonight.
In fact, that entire staff this evening.
Maybe after the Southern loss, they thought they'd have to go conservative.
Well, those guys are getting more dapper all the time over there, aren't they?
Well, look at Coach Bender's tie, though.
Here's Bender. Bender's got the loudest tie of the crew, but Ray will make a comeback, friends. Fear not. At the line, Wimhainer. Free throw is up and off.
Come on, Todd. You got to get this one now. Let's go.
One more throw to Todd Wimhainer. Second throw by Todd is good. He got 1 out of 2. So the Birds lead it now by 60-55 by 5. Kurt Smith bombs away. No good. Celestine with the tip-in rebound. And again, Drake is going to stop it with a quick timeout. He thinks a lot. All right, here's Cagle to make the play in. ISU leading by 3. 2 seconds left. Cagle to Vandegaard. Vandegaard just throws the ball straight up in the air. Kills the clock that way, and that's the old ball game. Illinois State wins it by 3. It was a struggle.